Now, live from WUSA 9.
We've had extraordinary good luck from Mother Nature for once, in that there hasn't been any additional rain or storms, so the dehydration is helping us too.
Experts now say they can drain New Orleans 3 times faster than they thought, and the death toll now appears lower than predicted.
This is 9 News at 11. WUSA 9 News. First in the nation's capital in high definition.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Ryan.
And I'm Bruce Johnson. Thanks for joining us this Saturday night. The American Red Cross tonight is putting out an urgent appeal. They're asking for 40,000 new volunteers to help feed, house, and comfort Hurricane Katrina victims.
It is the biggest recruitment drive in Red Cross history. According to one spokesperson, we're going to need a lot of people for a long time.
Meanwhile, in New Orleans tonight, more rescues, fewer bodies, and a cleanup ahead of schedule. Manuel Gallegos has the very latest.
We'll get her back there.
For the first time in nearly 2 weeks, 82-year-old Juanita Cannon took a breath of fresh air, saved by a California rescue team after calling 911 from her New Orleans home on Friday.
We actually found Juanita in the back bedroom. She's been there since the hurricane hit.
Another life saved, another success story, and there seems to be more of them lately. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers now says the Big Easy will be free of the toxic floodwater sooner than expected. They think they can drain most of the city in 1 month instead of 3.
We've had extraordinary good luck from Mother Nature for once, in that there hasn't been any additional rain or storms.
And now that they've done more searching, they no longer expect to find 10,000 people dead. So far, the official death toll is just over 150. They do expect to find more bodies, but certainly not as many as originally thought. Countless animals were killed by the storm or have died from drinking the dirty water. But many were rescued and are waiting to be reunited with their owners.
My children lost their house, their school, their furniture, their best friends, and so the pets were all we had left.
Authorities say they now have control over the city. It's much safer than it was just after the storm. They're encouraging residents to leave, but not forcing them. In fact, in one area, some fought the evacuation orders and won. And that calls for a celebration the only way they know how, Mardi Gras style. In New Orleans, Manuel Gallegos, 9 News.
Congress has approved more than $62 billion for relief and recovery so far. The federal government is spending more than $1 billion a day on the relief effort.
The U.S. Labor Department expects as many as 400,000 jobs to be lost in the coming months in the areas affected by the hurricane. Some survivors have not earned paychecks since Katrina. Others have had some luck scooping up cleanup jobs as soon as they're announced.
The most we've gotten is a little lip service. We'll let you know something in a couple of days, and that's already came and gone.
First word of work, we ran to it, you know what I mean? And it's, I'm just glad to be out here doing it, doing something.
The Labor Department reports about 10,000 workers filed for unemployment benefits last week in the affected areas. That number would have been much higher, but the storm closed claims offices and kept more people from finishing their paperwork.
Well, we've all heard the stories these last few days of Washingtonians rallying to help evacuees from Hurricane Katrina who are now staying at the D.C. Armory. Well, now these newest residents of Washington are getting a hand from some people who have a pretty good idea of what it's like to be homeless. Gary Nuremberg has that story tonight from the D.C. Central Kitchen.
Because I don't think we got no room in here. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. You got all that ready.
Always hectic at D.C.'s Central Kitchen.
On the ball. Y'all on the ball. We rolling.
Staff and volunteers prepare 4,000 meals here every day.
Coming out, coming out, coming out.
Deliver them to those in need. Now they've added 1,500 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the Katrina evacuees staying at the D.C. Armory.
I really understand losing everything and not really knowing which way to go.
Linda Watson has a special appreciation for what the evacuees face. She was homeless once.
It's frightening, to not know and where the rest of your family is and who's going to help you and if there's, any hope for tomorrow.
She graduated from the kitchen's training program in food services and is using those skills to help others in need, among them the Katrina evacuees.
And like today is my day off, but I just could not sit at home and do nothing.
You can put that in there too.
Eldridge Sims was homeless too, is a chef now, feels an affinity with the homeless of Katrina that others, he says, cannot.
It doesn't have that kind of grasp to them that it has to me. Because I done been through it. Not totally, but I done been through it.
To the evacuees, they work to deliver food, but in their own stories, it is hope, too, that they deliver to those living in an armory 1,000 miles from what used to be home.
Look at it as this way. You got up this morning. You could have been in one of those bodies bags, you know. There's always hope. I thought there was no hope for me, but look where I'm at now. I'm a kitchen manager today. I have my family. I'm a single mom. I have a car. I have an apartment. And so there's always hope. There's always hope.
Hope, and now a good solid 3 meals a day.
You ain't see no more Cambros out there?
Gary Nuremberg, 9 News.
The kitchen says it's prepared to continue providing meals as long as needed to Katrina evacuees. Right now, the kitchen staff is planning for a minimum of 3 weeks.
Tonight, many in this area enjoying the cool sounds of jazz.
It's the second annual Jazz Festival in Silver Spring, and while the crowd is enjoying the evening, the Gulf Coast is definitely on the minds of many, and donations are being accepted on behalf of the Red Cross.
Cindy Pena is there with the story. Cindy?
Hey, we haven't gotten the official tally, but as of 6 o'clock this evening, there were $4,000 already raised, and I know those buckets have been brimming ever since. This 8-hour festivities of jazz music has been just fantastic. I'm right now on Fenton Street, closed off to vehicular traffic, now a pedestrian walkway. Behind me, Wynton Marsalis and his band are still performing after 3 hours. That's just a testament to how much they like music and Silver Spring. Downtown Silver Spring is officially on the music map. In only its second year, the Silver Spring Jazz Festival has grown from a local music fest to a celebration worthy of national praise. And it's all here on Fenton Street, bustling with business and moving with music. A far cry from a decade ago.
10 years ago, there were just vacant boarded-up buildings here, and people said, don't try to fix Silver Spring because it'll never work. No one will ever come to Silver Spring, and we just kept saying, we got to do it.
When I first moved in 2001, it didn't look like this, and it's a dramatic change from how the stores are here and how it draws more people to the area.
I think they've done a great job of bringing all these different groups to Silver Spring to do concerts, to do things, you know, right along this area in the main part of downtown. This has brought this whole city to life. It's really wonderful.
In the midst of the music,
From New Orleans to the Gulf Coast,
were thoughts and contributions for hurricane victims. Here, buckets were filled to the brim with dollars. On stage, Blair High School grad and jazz musician Marcus Johnson was among those with a vision 2 years ago to bring these silky sounds to the streets of Silver Spring.
And we had 8,500 people. And then they were like, okay, we can do this really big. And thanks to Doug Duncan and Montgomery County and Susan Hoffman for putting it together, where we can afford to have something this big this year.
Wynton Marsalis?
Hey, what can you say? I mean, it's like, I'm like, where do we go next year? But we'll figure out something because it's Silver Spring.
That's right. The Wynton Marsalis Band is still on stage. The concert was supposed to be over at 10 o'clock this evening, obviously going way past that. Folks here are having a fantastic time. Wave, everybody. Hello. Having a really good time here on the streets of Silver Spring. Again, the second annual Jazz Festival in the downtown area of Silver Spring. Let's see what happens next year. I'm Cindy Pena reporting live here in downtown Silver Spring. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Cindy, thanks a lot. Great Saturday assignment. Huh?
That's great.
Right.
She's vying for next year.
Yeah. On the eve of the 4th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedies, for the very first time, the public is being allowed to visit memorials at the Pentagon crash site.
What gets your attention as you're heading in the building when you think of, you know, the suffering that would have occurred on that site and what that charge symbolizes?
A stone scorched during the crash of that hijacked plane is inscribed with the date of the attack. 184 people were killed on that day. Small groups of visitors also being allowed into the Pentagon room dedicated to the victims, whose names are inscribed on black panels.
Warning for you tonight, it could be tough going in our area tomorrow. Several events will fill up our roadways, and several roads will be closed from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. for the 9/11 memorial activities. That includes the northbound ramp from George Washington Memorial Parkway to Memorial Circle as well as stretches of Independence Avenue. And also, to make matters worse, the Redskins and the Nationals both have home games starting at about 1 o'clock. Metro is going to try to ease the pressure for us. It's running nearly as many cars as it does on the weekdays, with some extra trains after both of the games. And take a look right now. Just when you think that you might have a break this evening, no. Long delays and detours right at the Wilson Bridge. More construction going on overnight tonight, and we're told that this backup is about 3 miles long. The best advice? They say just stay away from the area. All right. Still ahead tonight on 9 News at 11 o'clock. We will head to the National Mall for the largest family event in the nation, and it's not too late for you to take part. I'll tell you about it.
And another candidate for D.C. mayor officially kicks off his campaign today. Details coming up later.
And will the weather cooperate for all of those outdoor activities tomorrow? Tony Pan has your first look at the forecast in just 60 seconds.
Welcome back. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tony Pan. A quiet Saturday night in progress. Weather-wise, partly cloudy skies. A little bit of fog starting to develop. That trend will continue as we head into tomorrow morning. 72 at the top of the hour at National Airport, 65 at Dulles, 64 at BWI. Away from the city, temperatures will drop into the 50s. In town, it'll stay in the 60s, but the humidity's going up, and the visibility will be dropping down under a mile by early tomorrow morning. 7-day forecast after a short break.
D.C. Councilman Adrian Fenty officially kicked off his campaign for D.C. mayor today. About 350 supporters gathered at the African-American Civil War Memorial. Fenty told the crowd citizens have a clear choice of staying chained to the past or moving boldly into the future.
Really, we got a grassroots campaign that will focus on the future. I believe that we made a lot of progress in the city, but I also believe we've got a long way to go. We've got to drive home accountability. We've got to fix some of these neighborhoods that have been left out of the Renaissance, and then we've got to continue the places where we have made progress.
The 34-year-old Ward 4 representative is considered a major contender along with Council Chairman Linda Kropp. She's been in public office more than 2 decades and says her experience makes her the better candidate to replace incumbent Mayor Tony Williams. Councilman Vincent Orange and former telephone company president Marie Johns are also running for D.C. mayor. Candidates also lining up to run for D.C. Council Chairman. 9 News has learned the Ward 2 Councilman Jack Evans has told associates he plans to file papers to run as soon as next week. The Ward 3 Council member Kathy Patterson has also confirmed she'll run for Council Chair. Ward 1 Councilman Jim Graham is also considering a run.
One more chance tomorrow to catch a big celebration on the National Mall. It's the 20th annual Black Family Reunion. Continues Sunday from noon until 8 p.m. This event includes arts and crafts, health and sports information, children's activities. There's food pavilions and also some great music tomorrow. Kirk Franklin and Mary Mary take the stage tomorrow night. The organizers of this event, the National Council of Negro Women, say that the reunion celebrates the enduring strengths and traditional values of the African-American family. Some great events going on this weekend.
I was going to say, the family reunion, the jazz festival, great weather.
And then you got all the sports in town.
Right, a couple of games tomorrow, baseball and football.
It's going to be a busy day here in D.C. tomorrow. The weather's going to cooperate. It's going to be nice. Probably start out with a little bit of fog, kind of like we did this morning, and then it'll go away by 9 or 10 o'clock, and we'll wind up with another good one. A little bit warmer than normal for this time of the year. Today we hit 84, 85 degrees. Tomorrow will be in the same neighborhood. By the time we get into the middle of the week, though, things will begin to change, and we could actually use some rain. So let's hope that part of this tropical system does come up the coast, and we get at least a little bit of precipitation out of it. But for the time being, more of the same for us. Temperatures will stay in the 80s for the next couple of days. We're in the 60s and 70s right now, 63 in Culpeper, 72 downtown, and the visibility is already beginning to drop in some of the western suburbs. The visibility is okay in the city, but down to 2.5 miles in Culpeper and down to 5 miles in Winchester. When you wake up tomorrow morning, especially in the western suburbs, it might be down under a mile in a couple of places. Of course, the big story is Hurricane Ophelia, and you can already see some of the outer bands, at least the cloud deck, coming up through North Carolina and into the southern part of Virginia. There's a big area of high pressure dropping down out of the Great Lakes, and this has been suppressing this storm and actually trapping it off to the south. It's been stationary for the last couple of days, but this high is going to slide to the east. Once it does that, it will open the door for the hurricane to make its move towards the coast and eventually perhaps move into the mid-Atlantic region. But right now, it's stationary. It's not moving at all. Sustained winds still 80 miles per hour. The western side of the storm has kind of been eroded away a little bit by some dry air wrapping around it. So the intensity will probably stay the same overnight tonight and into tomorrow. It's still over some warm water, so it could get a little bit stronger. But eventually it's going to start to make its move. And the official forecast track from the Hurricane Center looks like this. Shifted a little further to the north now. I don't think the focus is going to be South Carolina anymore. It will be North Carolina. The storm should come on shore Tuesday, so it's going to take that long for it to move on shore. It'll push up through North Carolina and perhaps during the day on Thursday be just off the Delmarva coast. Again, I think this will shift a little bit further back to the west, so there's a strong possibility that at least a tropical depression, maybe a weak tropical storm, could be near Ocean City, Maryland during the day on Thursday. And it'll be close enough to us here in the city that I think we'll get at least a little bit of rain out of that. But let's hope so, because we do need it. So the forecast looks like this. Clear to partly cloudy skies tonight, areas of fog. Low temperatures range between 56 and 65. During the day tomorrow, we start with the fog, then it turns mostly sunny. The highs will range between 81 and 86, about like today. And it's going to get even warmer. On Monday, I think we're going to hit 86. Some spots south of town probably make it into the upper 80s. Nice weather continues on Tuesday, and then the clouds thicken up on Wednesday. We could see some rain late in the day on Wednesday. The best chance for rain will be Thursday as the tropical system pushes off the coast. So we'll keep an eye on it. In the short term, more of the same. Okay. Not a whole lot to talk about.
All right, Tony. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Couldn't call it dog days, but it was a good day, hot day to take a dip for a good cause.
Dogs and dog owners who really love each other jumped into the Rockville Municipal Swim Center's outdoor pool today, and they all swam together. It's the third annual Doggy Dip Day. It came after the human swim season, of course, ended. Pool managers said the chemicals in the water were adjusted for the different breed of swimmers. This event raised money for the Montgomery County Humane Society. So how about that?
Yeah, did your dogs know about that? You got that?
They didn't know
six,
about
seven?
that.
They made a couple of phone calls, didn't they?
6 or 7.
Sure.
Skins.
Yes.
Tomorrow, what do you think?
They should win tomorrow.
You think?
Yeah, they should win tomorrow.
Okay.
They should win. If they don't win tomorrow,
we're in trouble.
They're big time trouble. Big time. They should win tomorrow. I know they should win. Coming up next in sports, it's time to start making your predictions. The Redskins are looking to make the playoffs for the first time since 1999. That was a long time ago, but maybe this is the year. Clinton Portis thinks so. We'll talk about the Redskins offense coming up next in sports. What are you trying to do here?
He's trying to put you in my position to make a forecast. What's going to happen?
Look, all over town, the sportscasters, guys in your league are saying
8-8, 10-6 if they get 2 road games.
8-8, 10-6
against with 2 road games.
Okay.
And then, okay.
You writing this down, gentlemen?
8-8, 10-6 is 2 good.
That's like me saying a 50% chance of rain.
One item we should all pay attention to in tomorrow's opening game is fatigue. The Redskins starters have not played 4 quarters at all this preseason, so the guys may cramp up late in the game. Let's hope by that time the home team has a huge lead. Now, I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying this, but the offense needs to get off to a quick start. Patrick Ramsey and the boys need to set a pace. If they start the game by moving the ball, then the defense will take care of the rest. John Johnson says the O is ready to go.
I think if you ask anybody in here, they're going to say that we're ready, and you know, we won't really know for sure until we do get a chance to prove it out there. And you know, we had a great game against Pittsburgh, and I think our offensive line has been physical. But again, we have to do it when it counts. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. We're expecting big things.
Like that, like the optimism. Some college football action. The Terps taking on the Tigers. Maryland in charge in the early going second quarter. Sam Hollenbach from the 1 and punching on in. Touchdown. Terps up 10-7. More Maryland. Third quarter, and this time Sam I Am throwing the magic bean to Vernon Davis. And Vernon is gone. 29 yards to the house. Davis had 6 catches for 140 yards. Fourth quarter, the Tigers taking over. Handoff to Reggie Merriweather, and around the end, and he is loose. 38 yards, and that is it. Merriweather had 2 touchdowns on the day. Maryland lets one slip away. They lose to Clemson 28-24. Around the college grid, Virginia Tech taking on Duke, and the Blue Devils forgot there was a game today. First quarter, Kurt Dukes with the throw, and give me that. Roland Minor with the interception. 24 yards, reverse skate to the house. The Blue Devils had 35 yards of total offense. More Hokies, and this time, Marcus Vick airing it out to Josh Morgan. Gotcha. 37 yards. Marcus Vick was 12 for 19 for 172 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Hokies beat the Blue Devils 45-0. Now we have a local college football score to pass along today. Howard lost to Hampton 22-12. To the U.S. Open now, and the 5th time was a real charm for Kim Clijsters. Get this. Tonight she won her first Grand Slam title, and she took home a check for over $2 million. It was the biggest winning check in women's sports history. Of Flushing Meadows, Kim Clijsters taking on Mary Pierce. Clijsters in the near court, and Pierce was just having trouble catching up. Clijsters would run her off the court. Nice. Belgium was in the house, and they would all cheer for this. Match point, and Clijsters just closes it out in straight sets. Kim Clijsters at 22 gets her first Grand Slam. She is the Women's Open champion. To the men's side, the semifinals. Andre Agassi taking on Robbie Ginepri, and Andre just aces this one out. He had 17 aces on the day. Andre wins in 5 sets. His opponent in the finals, who else? Roger Federer taking on Leighton Hewitt, and the Michael Jordan of tennis is moving on. Federer beats Hewitt in 4 sets. It's Andre versus Federer tomorrow in the men's finals. Baseball action. The Nationals taking on the Braves, and Andrew Jones is this year's Sultan of SWAT. The solo shot is 47. That ties a Braves franchise record. Atlanta up 1-0. Let's stay in the 4th. Rookie Brian McCann locked and loaded. 3-run bomb, his 5th. Braves up 4-0, and you know what? They would bring the defense. Bottom 5. Christian Guzman at the dish. If he hits one far, it should be out, right? Just yokes this one. Check out Jeff Rancourt. The leaping grab. Oh, that's all in the shoes. The Nationals. They don't score this afternoon. They lose to the Braves 4-0. A little vroom vroom action. The rock and roll 400 in Richmond. The last race before the championship chase, Jamie McMurray and Jeff Gordon fighting for a spot, but Ryan Newman and the number 12 car would get the final spot. Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr. on the outside looking in. Kurt Busch was your winner in Richmond. He wins the rock and roll 400 tonight. Good for him.
What do the guys get in tennis? The ladies got $2 million.
You know what's funny? We were talking about, Joyce and I were talking about today. We can't wait to see what they're going to give them, because when you do like a U.S. Open series, so she got 1.1 and then they matched it because she won the U.S. Open, so it's 2.2.
$2 million. That's got to be what, more than she's earned probably her whole career. You know?
Yeah. Wow, it's more than a lot of people have
earned. Good pay.
Back in a moment with the morning weather. Stay with us.
Welcome back. One more look at the 7-day forecast. Dry weather for the next couple of days. We'll start with some fog tomorrow morning, but dry and warm Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, then a chance for rain late Wednesday and Thursday with the leftovers of the hurricane coming up the coast. We'll talk more about that, of course, tomorrow morning.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Your next 9 News is tomorrow morning beginning at 8 o'clock.
Have a good night. Redskins.
WUSA 9 News wants to hear from you. If you see news happening in your neighborhood, call us right away at 202-895-5700. WUSA 9 News, 202-895-5700.